I would now like to request Mr. Vivek Gokhale, veteran freelance translator and interpreter, to deliver his talk. He will be talking about the history of the Japanese technical translation and interpretation in Pune, past, present and future, my story.
Honorable dignitaries on the speech and friends, konnichiwa, namaskar. On the outset, I congratulate all on this occasion of 50th anniversary of Japanese language and culture studies in Pune. I am also delighted for getting this opportunity to express my thoughts on this occasion. In fact, 15 minutes is a big challenge to talk about a span of almost 5 decades, but I will try to complete before you feel sleepy. This is my story of how I became translator interpreter, an unplanned journey. A brief ad in the local newspaper in 1971 took me to learn Japanese language classes, and which are started by Indo-Japanese Association in Pune. Actually, Indo-Japanese Association was formed after these classes, and Ms. Sakurai was our first teacher, and who was handling a class of almost 40 Punewalas, right from high school students in half pants to dhoti-clad senior members of both the genders. All students and Sakurai sensei became a family in no time. But apart from language, we learned a lot, many things from her because of her personality and figure. About 25 students completed the first 9 months course, and some, like me, also learned Japanese script in next 3 months span. Then our teacher went back to Japan, leaving almost 2 years gap till arrival of the next teachers. Many a times people ask me why you took up and started learning Japanese. I also thought myself, and one day I found my answer. There was hidden curiosity in my mind since my childhood. In those days, we used to get firecrackers from China in the Deepavali festival, and nobody around me could read the matter written on these packs of firecrackers. Now, after learning Japanese, we came to know what is kanji, and I think I got the answer of my curiosity. In the Indo-Japanese Association, further 3 teachers came from Japan under a ZOCV program, namely Ms. Igarashi, Ms. Nakada, and Mr. Odaka. I continued learning from all these teachers. This training gave me a basic knowledge of Japanese and some confidence for daily conversation. Main problem was how to keep in touch and practice whatever we have learned. But Indo-Japanese Association was quite active and started various activities such as the Japanese film shows, exhibitions, lectures, visit of Japanese groups to Pune, and so on. In 1974, Students Exchange program was started between Pune University and Nagoya University. 1 or 2 Japanese students started coming to Pune every year. We also located 2 Japanese ladies married to Indians and staying in Pune. Everybody was kind enough to listen to my broken Japanese and encouraged to continue the studies. Another activity helped me to practice was pen friends. I used to send and receive almost 5 to 6 letters per month. Our teachers also became our pen friends in latter part. One more solace was listening to Radio Japan on shortwave. They had a very good interest in Japanese language lessons. They also send textbooks from Japan free of charge to the regular listeners. In the meantime, the 4th and last teacher, Mr. Odaka, who started teaching in Foreign Language Department of Pune, University of Pune. In 1979, after completing the diploma in Japanese language at Pune University, I got an opportunity to learn advanced Japanese in Japan under the Japanese government scholarship. It happened due to the sincere efforts of Mr. Odaka, who wanted to develop the local language teachers. I completed Japanese language advanced course at International Center in Keio University and got a 2 months language teaching techniques training at JICA International Center, Tokyo, and this was in 1980. After coming back, I taught Japanese for a few days at Pune University as well as Indo-Japanese Association language courses for the period of about 2 to 3 years. Great deal of time, commitment, money and efforts are normally required to pursue the Japanese language studies. However, my technical background and Japanese language qualification opened an opportunity in the local electronics machine tool manufacturing company. Third slide. A local electronics machine tool manufacturing company who started importing CNC technology from Japan. It was 1980s, the beginning of NC technology era in India. They needed a person who can take care of communication with the Japanese experts visiting for marketing, installation of machines, training of machines and after-sales service. There was also a requirement of inter-company communication on phone or telex, as computers were not yet born. Telephone calls to Japan also used to take hours for getting connected. I visited a number of companies all over India and worked with almost 100 plus Japanese experts in a span of almost 3 years with this company. It gave me a rich experience of engineering terms as well as handling a variety of situations. Then I joined machine tool manufacturing company having technical production from Japan. By this time, Japanese automobile companies also have started coming to India. And I got a chance to work in 2 companies, both two-wheeler manufacturers having tied up with the Japanese two-wheeler giants. This took almost 13 years of my Japanese career, enriching my knowledge in the new field. And it gave me a chance to translate thousands of technical documents, drawings, intercompany communication, and interpret for the Japanese experts on all corporate levels. My career kept me so much busy that it itself became my own university to learn, practice and apply the knowledge. The main force was my patience, sincerity and strong will to become a better day by day. There was no school or any institution teaching how to become interpreter or translator in those days. Then I got an opportunity to work for a small-scale Japanese company from India. And this company was a manufacturer of precision electronic machines required for electronic industry. In the span of 10 years with this company, I visited Japan for about 15 times and worked in their units as an employee on short trips. This exposed me to the working of Japanese companies and enriched my experience. Since 2009, I came in my career, and from then I became a freelance translator interpreter. Along with various assignments, I am helping a Japanese management consultant presently who is visiting India here for last 6 years and a totally new field open. I am working in an industrial company and I don't feel off track. Translation interpretation is a very unique profession which depends on the mutual relation of 2 countries. Requirement comes from various areas such as trade, industry, tourism, academics, cultural exchange, medical, legal, diplomatic and so on. We are lucky having ever increasing relations with Japan, and demand will definitely grow for the professional translator interpreters in the near future, probably by the bullet train speed. Here, positive atmosphere and infrastructure for learning Japanese will help new entrants in this profession. First, developing technology is another boon for mastering in special fields. I never imagined in the past that one day a full dictionary will be available in my pocket in the form of a smartphone. The dream came true, and now I can translate any matter in a blink of an eyelid using an app like Google Translate. We also have versatile translation memory tools available such as SBL Trados and so on, which were ever not dreamt by us when I started my career. Opportunities are ample, however, the rat race is also becoming severe. But perfection, quality, and on-time delivery will always remain as a main demand from customers. Sufficient knowledge of source and target language, knowledge of cultural aspects of both the countries, relevant experience and use of right tools will be the few of the main necessities. But the passion for Japanese language, patience, hard work to give the best will be only the key factors to keep you in high demand in this profession. The confidence needs to be developed individually. One more important aspect is the personality, which calls for punctuality, politeness, and promptness, and humanity. In the need of hours, you should be ready to help the Japanese visiting here out of the way. There are many failed Japanese joint ventures in India, but we must learn how much role was wrongly played by language experts in this line. There are efforts in progress in formulating international translation standards like ISO 38A or ISO 17100, etc. The future is definitely bright, and we, the language professionals, should remain more and more active. I cannot conclude my story without expressing my sincere thanks to Professor Prashant Pardeshi and his colleagues for successfully organizing this 50th anniversary celebration here and allowing me also to share my story with you. For last few years, Professor Prashant is a really Pardeshi, but he has not forgotten his roots, and this is proven by him his efforts to develop the Japanese Marathi Basic Word Dictionary. I congratulate him and his all team members for the same. I also thank you for patiently listening to my story. Thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu. Namaste.